Great Scott. Great Scott. Great Scott.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another fantastic episode of Great Scott. I'm Scotty V. Thanks for watching. And so, it begins. At least it begins for me. As you notice, I'm wearing a new Man of Steel shirt, even though it's not specifically from the movie Man of Steel. I believe it's one of the images they're using on the new posters for the movie. They just kind of replaced the S with the new movie S, and they wrote Man of Steel on it. But I'm not fooled. I know that it's an old image that's been used before, and it's been on other shirts and other posters and other comic books. But I like the image, and I'm not going to say, oh no, this one's outdated, because there's a new one that says Man of Steel on it, even though I know it's not really an image from Man of Steel. However, these items here are actual movie merchandise. We've got several different figures. We've got Break Apart Motorcycle Superman, which it's two pieces of a motorcycle that fit back together, and you can break them apart as Superman and maybe smash Zod with them. We got Zod up here. It's Shadow Assault Zod with a 2-in-1 Mega Blade, which I guess is for the Civil War on Krypton or something, because on Earth I don't know that it's necessary to have a Mega Blade when you have superpowers. Then you got the other 2-in-1 Battle Staff Krypton Combat Superman. He's in armor, and he's got two weapons. It kind of looks like he matches the Zod one, so I guess if you're a kid and you want to, fight against each other, you can do that. And then down here, we have the Mega Tired Blaster Superman. He's got some kind of weird, I don't know, thing that has a tire that shoots off of it for some reason. And the interesting thing about these toys is that there's only one of them that's actually wearing the Man of Steel costume from the movie, and it's this Break Apart Motorcycle Superman. The rest of them have different suits, and I don't believe, at least from what we've seen, that Superman himself is going to wear any of this Kryptonian armor or have weapons like that. In this outfit, there isn't even a belt type area. It's just completely one piece. But the S is black, and it's on a red background, and he has red cuffs. And then, of course, there's Zod. And there's three others, I think, that they had in the store when I was there. I probably should have gotten them when I was there, but I opted for 4 at this point, and probably should have opted out for any, just because I don't know that I need toys, but I was excited, and I couldn't help myself, so here they are. There's one that has an all-red suit that I kind of wanted to get to, so I'm probably going to end up going back. But who knows? I've been hearing about this Walmart promotion that's supposed to start, where there's supposed to be a whole centerpiece that has shirts on it and posters on it and all the toys and all the advertising so that people see it, and capes and things. And I've been going almost every day, because I'm insane, to check out and see what they have. And so far, nothing really impressive. I mean, the first day I went, they had the cape with the chest gear for kids, and that's all they had. Then I started to see that they had little pegs with Man of Steel labels on them, but still nothing hanging there. Then there were 3 figures. Now there's 7. And there are still some empty areas where they're going to be hanging stuff. However, these are just in the middle of the superhero aisle, among the Spider-Man and Iron Man and Megasaurs and whatever else they have. Not in their own aisle, their own kind of separate setup centerpiece type thing, which was advertised as to be the way that Walmart was going to set up nationwide. So I'm not sure if that's something that's going to come about as time goes on, or whether it's not happening at all Walmarts, or what the deal is. But I'm hoping that we get a little more than this. Otherwise, how's anybody going to know that it's going on? Because if you're like me and you're a parent and you're going to a store, you do your best to try to steer your kids away from the toys. If you're going to get bread or something, you go in the way that is closest to the bread. Not only just with kids, but you want to get in and out. And if you have kids are going to be trying to grab everything off every shelf, and if you go near the toy aisle, they're going to want everything that's there. However, if you're a standalone kind of Superman center aisle thing, it's a lot more difficult to avoid, which is the idea. For marketing, you're trying to sell, and obviously with toys, you're trying to sell to kids most of the time. I know, it's like I'm 7. I'm going to go with these. But so I think that the centerpiece thing will help sell the movie and help sell the toys much more, because as the kids play with them and they get interested, they'll see the cartoon, when they're watching their Nickelodeon shows or whatever, they'll start to see trailers and things. and they'll be interested. Which brings me to another interesting point that I really wanted to talk about today, and that is that the movie's rated PG-13, and yet these toys are for 4+. A certain Superman writer has come out and written an opinion piece where he is begging the movie makers to make the movie PG because they're ruining the fabric, the family type nature, the wholesome qualities of Superman by making the movie PG-13. And I couldn't disagree more. Now, I've never written Superman as a professional comic book writer, so perhaps this guy knows a lot more than I do. However, many Superman stories, other superhero stories that I read in comics on a regular basis, and continuing now at this point, would have to be rated PG-13 if they were brought to life on screen. The reason for it is generally written right in the little subscript when they tell you the rating. It's for intense scenes of action or violence. It's for scary situations. And not necessarily because Superman's going to be nude or cursing or tearing people's arms off. Anything I've seen in any of the promotional materials so far leads me to believe that this is going to be a Superman that we want to see. A Superman that's inspiring. A Superman that's doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. And is helping because he wants to help people. And his altruistic nature leads him to do that. Being raised by the Kents instills a certain value in him. But he's also naturally inclined to do the right thing. And he's going to be this moral compass in the darkness. He's going to be this shining beacon of hope. He even says it right in the very trailer that his symbol, which, as Lois states, is an S on Earth, means hope on his planet. I don't think it could be stated any more positively that he is going to be that symbol of hope that we all expect Superman to be. And while this movie may have its darker moments, and while Zod may really truly be threatening and scary and dangerous, Superman will do his best to stop him and do his best to stem the flow of violence and destruction. You know, a movie's rated PG-13 because an entire planet, presumably, gets destroyed with hundreds of thousands or millions of people on it. You know, I've always been interested in seeing a Krypton that was a living world, complete with hundreds of thousands of different species and people and buildings and living organisms and everything else that's all going to get destroyed when the planet gets destroyed. Now, the sequence of Krypton being destroyed in the first Donner film was incredible. It's probably the best part of the movie in terms of really gripping tension and seriousness. But then the movie got a little silly. And then in Superman 2, when Zod arrives, he's threatening at points, but for the most part, he's kind of a goofy character with one-liners and really over-the-top acting. I love Terrence Stamp, and I love what he did. But those movies were a different style of film. They kind of made a little bit of a joke about it. It was very light. It was very humorous at a lot of times, which is cool, and humor is good. But I think these movies, even with Avengers or Spider-Man, there's humor in them as well. But, you know, I took my daughter, who was 6 at the time, to see Avengers. She said she wanted to go, so we went. She wasn't scared at any point, but she did get bored a few times. So I think that it's up to parents, when a movie is rated PG-13, to decide what they think based on the advertising that they've seen, based on who the character is, based on what they've read of the movie, or, if you're really unsure, see the movie first and then take your kids to see it. I think most of us are probably going to see the movie more than once anyway, unless we hate it. And I don't expect to hate it at all. I expect to love it a lot. So I don't think it's the end of the world that it's rated PG-13. Is it possible that, aside from what we've seen in the trailers, we're going to see a Superman that's tearing people's lips off or burning their face away with his heat vision? I'm sure it's possible, but I've seen nothing that leads me to believe that that's going to be the case. Instead, what I see is the very extreme possibility that we're finally going to get to see a full living Krypton that is ravaged by civil war and may or may not be destroyed. I assume it gets destroyed. That's the normal expectation that we all have of Krypton when we're watching a Superman-type origin story. But whatever happens, a civil war where soldiers are battling, things are exploding, and they're using beam weapons and things on each other, or mega blades from Krypton, and they're wearing armor. The reason for that is that they know that their lives are in danger. Krypton, not the only destruction in this movie. There's clearly scenes of destruction in Smallville, scenes of destruction in Metropolis, scenes of people running afraid. These are tense moments. These are filled with action. These are adult-type situations that a parent has to decide at what age is okay for their kid to see, and if their own child can handle it at this particular time. My contention is that kids see this type of faux violence on their Saturday morning cartoons, or their, now there's networks that run all day cartoons and superhero shows and Power Rangers. There's fighting and explosions and destruction, but on a lot of these shows, they're silly and they're goofy, and the Power Rangers have one-liners and they're campy. This is more of a situation that might happen if this actually occurred. And I hear a lot of fans saying, well, I don't like my superheroes to be set in the real world. Superheroes aren't real. Well, clearly, there's no super alien that's flying around coming to save the day. However, if there were, how would we react? How would the military react? How would the world react? How would his powers work? I like seeing this type of stuff, and I'm very interested in seeing how it goes. It's also very heartening to me that there are toys like this and that there are going to be more, because it's leading me to believe that they are trying to appeal to families and children, and they are trying to have kids be able to see this movie, even though it's rated PG-13, like every other superhero film of the last 12 or 15 years. So fear not, I say to Superman writer and to other people. PG-13 is a normal kind of rating, and we're in a technological age now where the destruction can be made to look so real and so terrifying that at points it'll be such that the rating needs to be PG-13. But it's also just a sign of the times in terms of the way the rating system has been. It's a little harder to get a PG rating, and I don't know that they would be going for that. They're also trying to appeal to adults who want a sense of seriousness and who want to see something that really matters. A situation where you really feel like something's on the line, not like a jokey Lex Luthor pulling off his wig and laughing and calling over Otis and being goofy. Ho, ho, ho. So I'm looking forward to it. And remember, everyone, always look up in the sky.